nothing is more important than having the President of the United States calling Xi in front of everyone, in front of the whole world, that Xi is a great leader. It's the stamp of approval. That is what Xi wants. That's the most important thing that Xi wanted. Okay? This whole trip is better for Xi than for Trump. Okay? Now, did Trump get some stuff out of this trip? Well, the same old, same old. You got the farms, you got the things, the most important one is NVIDIA. And forget the rest of them. And they were there, it's like in Taiwan they were saying, oh, this is like the Avengers. The whole group goes in, But really it's really about NVIDIA. The whole thing and that Jensen Wen, went on Air Force One to Alaska was a great move, because China did not want NVIDIA to be there. They don't want to see Jensen Wen. So they were surprised. So it was a great move by Trump, and it was a great move by Jensen as well. And then of course, Trump gave them the promise that they were gonna be able to buy the NVIDIA chip, not the B series, that's the best series, the H series, the second best series, right? So because like I told you, China doesn't want to buy from NVIDIA. They want.
Oh wait, isn't it the H200 chips?
H200 is the second best.
What's the best?
Blackwell.
Oh.
Why do I know this more than you do?
I don't follow the latest and greatest for NVIDIA.
Oh,
so.
I tell you, the chips is now the most used geopolitical what do you call that, wager. And the chips you gotta know this now. Chips is like oil. It has become a necessity.
It's interesting because when I saw Blankfein, when he was pushing his book, he was talking about potentially markets, future markets dealing with compute.
Oh.
Somehow creating like a futures market in compute.
Yeah, it's becoming a commodity. It's becoming a digital commodity. I definitely, I didn't think that far, but yeah, I totally agree. I would totally agree if that would happen, because it's become a commodity. It's like oil. That's what everyone is saying in Asia, and I think some American commentators started to catch on to this new idea that chip is now, like oil, as a necessity. But this theory has been going on in Asia, especially Taiwan, for quite a while now. So she, he doesn't want to see Jensen. He doesn't want to welcome Jensen. He doesn't, Jensen was not on the list. And yet, out of all those nonsense, all the bullshit out there, all those Cook and Elon Musk and all that shit, they were just there for the facade. You know how Trump is like, he likes to go in big and beautiful, bring in every single CEO in from, most of from America, and where's Jeff Bezos? Because it's not so important, right? I mean, he's the one who imported the most stuff from China into America. I mean, you think about it, how much people buy from Amazon that's made in China? But no, he's not there at the.
I think you're bringing a good point. I think Amazon is the new Walmart.
Yeah, and he is very friendly with Xi, so he's not really on the Trump side. Everyone else is on the Trump side. Did he ever say, when you remember that dinner last year that they had with all the tech giants in the same table, and Tim Cook gave him like a present, like a golden apple or something, and then Mark Zuckerberg was sitting right next to him and all that, and we're asking like, oh, how much are you investing? And then Mark Zuckerberg was eating, he was having his steak, and suddenly he's like, oh, 100 billion. These are the people that could have actual effect on China. Amazon is just a fucking middleman. They're nobody. Okay, they have no needle on China. So out of all the people there, who is the most important? Of course, was Jensen. It wasn't even Elon Musk.
Yeah, but Elon Musk, the last one on the list.
Sorry, I just want to say one more thing. Elon Musk is just a maker. He makes things. He makes cars, whatever. Okay? Jensen is the one who really is going to bring the future to us. Okay? And he can call for the future. He can dictate the future. And so it was a stroke of genius. I tell you, it was a stroke of genius that Jensen went on Air Force One. And of course, he's the most important, right? He's the most important out of Tim Cook. He makes iPhones. So what? Big deal, So I think she and Trump, they both got what they wanted, and of course, I don't know what they talk about Iran, but the fact of the matter is, China says that they want to buy more oil from America. So that tells you a lot. Tells you a lot that he's gonna be a little bit more neutral, and he's gonna support Iran less, on buying energy. So it's just something going to have any real effect on trade. Like you said, on one side you got Xi Jinping, who hardly ever honors his whatever trade agreement that he has, right? And it's a streak of bad records that he signs something and then it doesn't mean anything. So, and then on the other side you got Trump, who changes his mind all the time. So when you put these two people together, it's just kind of like Trump says something, she says something, and then that's it. So what? That's it. But it was the show. It was a show.
Well, my take on it is that I feel that Trump looked weak, and that when it came to Taiwan, it didn't seem like the United States set a forceful posture.
No.
I think Trump kowtowed to Xi.
You know what? I'm gonna send you this the body language guy, because he also analyzed politics, and I watched his 2 videos last night talking about how Trump dealt with Xi in China, and he was really, really spot on. I don't know where he learned all this from. I'm really skeptical. I think he has a Chinese expert helping him to put the videos together, because I cannot believe the depth of understanding he had. Because on the surface, it's exactly what you said. Yeah, it looks like it, but it really was not. Trump was winning at every single turn. It's just from your white people perspective, yeah, it looks like, oh, Trump looks weak. But no, from an Asian perspective, Trump was the king. Trump was the king of the night.
I don't know.
She was a little brother, following Trump. He's like, yeah, finally come to my house to play, play with me and all that. She was, so Trump gave that to Xi. There's a lot of Chinese philosophy on how to deal with Chinese people that you guys really, really don't understand. And I tell you something. Trump understood. Rubio understood. So all you white people out there think that, have no clue. Read up on Epstein. Epstein lectured someone, the J.P. Morgan CEO, on how to deal with China. I tell Epstein, and this is from like 20, 30 years ago, and he was spot on. Epstein was spot on too. The concepts of the Chinese philosophies. So if you look at it from a pure American point of view, it's very shallow. It looks like, oh yeah, you talk about Taiwan, you know. But then from the Chinese point of view, it's a totally different story to us when we look at it. So I don't.
Well, do you think Taiwan's safer or more risk?
China loves to talk big, and Taiwan was not on the agenda. Trump was not going to talk about Taiwan with Xi. Whatever we hear about what China says about Taiwan was after the fact. No, it wasn't on Trump's agenda, and right now you are being targeted. You see, white person, you got the propaganda message from somewhere. Okay, either through one of the American analysts or something, and either they had it wrong or they tried to propaganda for China. Either way, it's the wrong message. Taiwan was never on the agenda to talk, with Xi. This trip was more about trade, about AI, about collaboration on some stuff. It was just a visit. Okay, I mean.
But the point is that she did ask Trump if he would defend Taiwan. He said that yes, and that he hasn't made a decision yet, though, on the types of weapons that he's going to sell.
Or they talk about this during the meeting. Did you see they actually say that to each other?
This was behind closed doors, and Trump was asked by the press.
And he says they talk about China and Taiwan and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't really believe him, because I got different message from Taiwan. Okay, that they're very stern. You have to remember, Marco Rubio was there. He's not gonna let this fly. He's not gonna let this go. He's not gonna let China has the upper hand. So
if China was smart, they would get Taiwan now.
If Trump says this, he's lying. They were not. They did not want to talk about Taiwan with China. Was not on the agenda. Okay. Whatever that's going on with Taiwan and China, you have to remember Japan too. It's just, once you get Taiwan, Japan is next. And that's why Japan was calling Trump. Of course, maybe you guys don't know, but from Taiwan, the Prime Minister of Japan was calling Trump right before the trip. They had a talk, and Besson also went to Japan. Besson was also calling Japan right before the trip. So a lot of people want easy answers, yes or no, but it's never that easy. How could you let China to have Taiwan? That's suicidal. 50% of the international trade goes there. The only country in the world that wants a piece of Taiwan is China. Because if you get Taiwan, you basically control. You can overtake America, and that would never happen with America. From the national security point of view, it's just like the Hormuz Straits. Taiwan Strait is actually more important than Hormuz. Hormuz is just the energy where the Middle East, they supply the energy and all that. But those could be replaced. Those could be supplemented. If the UK is willing to drill in the North Sea, it's Finland and Denmark. Finland has also a great wealth of oil reserve that they have not, they don't want to tap. So could Europe survive, without Middle East? or drastically less from Middle East? Yes, of course, because they just don't want to do it themselves. So the whole Middle East, the whole Hormuz Strait, there's only one thing that's going on in Hormuz Strait, just the oil. But in the Taiwan Strait, 50% of the international trade, so all sorts of things. That's a real chokehold. So that would never happen. Whatever Trump says, I think he's just giving some answers to whatever the journalists, because he knows they will ask this question. And also, China also released their own propaganda after Trump left China. Okay, China also released their own statement about what the meeting was about, and they probably also penciled in on what they say about China. So I don't believe either side. I think there was no talk about Taiwan, and it was really just about, because they, like I said, they went in very quickly. They were actually saying that this is one of the shortest visit ever from the with all the other American presidents that visited China. This is one of the shortest trip ever. It was only like 48 hours, and then they were out just like that. So this Trump, and Trump looked horrible. I don't know if people noticed that, but he looked extremely unhappy. He's got that poker face. His face was pulled all the way down, and he just didn't look happy. If you compare
weak.
his face,
I'm telling you, physically and tactically, I think he looks weak.
Well, who gives you? Is that what you personally think?
Mm-hmm. I personally feel that this summit was a failure.
I don't think he looks weak. I think he looks pissed off. I think he really, really didn't want to be there. And also that kerfuffle with the American journalists that they don't allow to be inside the meeting. I think that really pissed him off too. Because
what happened?
Trump looks offensive.
Wait, what happened? Wait, what happened?
Oh, you guys don't know? Oh my God. I've become your news outlet now.
So wait, what happened?
Well, there was some kerfuffle because China, they didn't really understand that all these journalists have to go in, because that's the Trump style. Wherever he goes, he will allow all the journalists go and all that. And I'm sure they had some sort of communication before, but there was kerfuffle where the Chinese, the Chinese securities, they believe they probably got the wrong message, or they just don't care. I don't know exactly what happened, but it blocked out some of the American journalists outside of the meeting, of whatever the meeting they were having. And then these journalists were screaming into the meeting room from outside. They were complaining, they were screaming outside, and then in the end, I don't remember they got in or out, but it was a huge kerfuffle, and it was very unpleasant, extremely unpleasant, because it was just like slap in the face, like you don't let my people in. Like, I go to your country, and then you don't let my people in, and guess what? Did you know the whole controversial about Marco Rubio's name?
No.
Oh my God! Are you kidding me? Are you?
What happened?
Do you know that Marco Rubio is being sanctioned by China at this moment? Ever since he was a senator, and he kept visiting Taiwan, and he kept coming up with the bills, about China and the Uyghurs, and that the American was have to set sanctions on China. He wrote those bills.
Right.
So he was sanctioned by China, meaning when China sanctioned somebody, they mean that they were going to go out there and arrest him wherever he is. So if they sanction Marco Rubio, how is it possible that they let Marco Rubio into China first of all, if he was in China, they should have arrested him already because they sanctioned him. They say that he's a criminal. So what they did was they changed his Chinese name. The character for Rubio was, Rubio, and in order to bypass their own stupid sanctions, so in Chinese they sanction, we sanction Rubio. That they in order to let him in, to bypass their own stupid sanctions, okay, they changed his Chinese character to another character.
Interesting. I didn't know
this
that.
Is story.
Wow.
I'm gonna tell you guys again. You guys don't know how Chinese philosophy works, and don't know how Chinese plays the politics. And I tell you, Epstein was so successful because he fucking understood China. And those who don't understand China could take a page out of the Epstein, profile from all the releases. And also, I want to follow his video because you're gonna learn something from there. You're gonna see a whole different perspective. And he was so spot on. I don't know how he got his information so spot on. I think someone told him, because I really don't believe, because for a Hispanic person to have such deep understanding of how Chinese, this kind of like very under the current but very important things that's happening. So Trump understood. If you feel that Trump looked weak in China, well, that's because Trump wanted people to feel that China had the upper hand, because that was important for China. And at what cost?
But if you give them the feeling that they have the upper hand, then the chances of them making a move on Taiwan increases. No,
that's absolutely the opposite. That's the absolute opposite. I don't know how to explain this to you, but no, Trump did not give, by making Xi look good, doesn't mean that,
What did America get out of this? All right, let's just get down to let's just get down to the simplicity of this.
Money.
What did America get?
America is going to get money from China.
For
America
what?
And China is going to have to open up their markets.
There's no way China's going to open up
their markets
market
to X. I mean, you don't believe me, but you it's a bit shallow.
I really don't think anything was accomplished.
I'm trying to explain this to you, but if you don't, it's very typical for a regular American like you, I'm sorry, you're not regular American, but who don't understand China, because not a lot of people do. And Trump played very well. Trump played it very well, and that's what she wanted, because she is having the greatest struggle in terms of politics in his life right now, that he could be kicked down the stairs.
But isn't that what America needs?
So it's solidifying, and Trump gave him the star sticker. You're the best leader. Give you a little star.
Yeah, wait. But isn't it better for America? Isn't it better for us, the United States of America, to have President Xi taken down by his own party? Because to me, that sounds like there's instability. And if there's instability, chances are there's not going to be an attack on Taiwan.
No, I'm going to tell you something. Like I told you many times, they'd rather have Xi than someone new that they have no idea of. Same with Iran.
Well, I think you're probably right about the think tanks, but I think that's the wrong policy.
He's not liberating Iran, but he wanted the regime change so that they can follow Americans' demands. That's all he wanted. He doesn't care if it's going to be another Ayatollah, another whatever it is, religious leader that they have. He doesn't care. American America, Marco Rubio, they don't care. They only care that they stop trading with China, because you gotta look at it from a national security point of view. We're not there to be good people for the world. We're out there to get money. We're out there to make money. We're out there to get power for America. That is very important. That we're not gonna care who is in charge. It doesn't matter but it's better to have Xi in charge, because at least the American government has known him, his MO for a long time. If someone new came on, it's bad for the Americans, because everything has to start all over again. But that is a greater risk of going to war with Taiwan and Xi. I don't, it's absolutely not that it's China, America is, well, there's, that's what Trump insinuates, that maybe, but the truth of the matter is, okay, it doesn't matter what Trump thinks. America as a whole, and the world as a whole, why do you think all over the world is talking about Taiwan? Because it matters to the whole fucking world. Taiwan, it's not just the chips, it's the shipping lane. It's the 50% of the world shipping. That's more valuable. That's more valuable. So Europe will worry about it too, because the whole fucking world will worry about it. 50%. You can't replace that. You can't replace that, because everything depends on it. Hormuz affects the oil prices, and we might have temporary inflation and all that. I agree, but we're fine. Everything else is fine. And China knows that. But what do they like to do? They love to talk tough. There's, in the video, he made a really good. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I was watching the analysis from Taiwan. One of the commentators, he says, it's very simple. It's because Taiwan never belonged to China. That's what China, quote unquote, wants Taiwan. You can only want something if you don't have it. And Taiwan, they never had Taiwan. Oh yeah, they want a sugarcoat of reunification. No, Taiwan was never really belonged to China. We're given away to Japan, and afterwards we should have declared our independence. A stupid Kuomintang, they were selfish. They were only using Taiwan as a mantra. They did not know that Taiwan could be so, could have so much potential. And so, they should have declared independence, and they didn't. They still want to fight with China to claim the rightful ruler of China, whatever it is. And then we got kicked out of UN. As a founding father of UN, we got kicked out. So there's no way the world would allow. It's not just America. I'm going to tell you something. The whole world would not allow China to take Taiwan. It's just that the Americans are trying to help Taiwan, more in the front. They're more in the front. But I tell you something. If China tried to take Taiwan, that would be World War III. The Middle East is always going to be messy and whatever, but nobody really cares. And the Middle East has no importance to the world. Absolutely no importance to the world. They don't produce anything. They got oil, or what else? They have nothing else. All they have are just rocks and stone. They have no manufacturing power. They have nothing. They can't manufacture a thing except oil. And that's the only one single option, their own livelihood. So whatever that's going on in the Middle East is not really going to impact the rest of the world, because they have nothing. But Taiwan is a whole different story. So whatever they say about about, they say or they don't say about Taiwan, I'm going to tell you something. With Marco Rubio as Secretary of State, you know what? I'm going to bet you 1,000 times nothing's going to happen. Even if China tries to, do something, it's not going to happen. I don't think, not under Rubio's watch. Not under, because Trump is the businessman.
I think it's setting in motion. I think what's happening is it's setting in motion for a war.
But Marco Rubio is the guiding, ethics, the guiding, principle in this administration. No, he's telling Trump what's the right thing to do, what not to do. Because Trump, he doesn't understand. He doesn't understand too. He learned more about China probably through Marco Rubio and during his first term with Shinzo Abe. It was Shinzo Abe who told, because Shinzo Abe was telling Obama, and Obama just fucking totally ignored him. So when Trump came on, I don't know if you remember, you probably don't remember, the first one to visit Trump, even before he got into the White House, he visited Trump at the Trump Tower. He was the first one there. First one to fly in and tell everything about Trump about China. And that's when everything started to roll and this whole thing started. And then now it's revealed that yes, it's true. China they want world domination. And Japan doesn't want China to dominate. Think about how Japan feels if China takes Taiwan. They're gonna have a panic attack. A fucking panic attack. They're gonna go out to defend Taiwan, first thing, and then America's gonna come in. And if you think Europe is not gonna join the war, and if America and Japan wins over China, Europe will lose a huge piece of cheesecake. A huge piece of cheesecake. So they will join the war too, because they all want to share the big pie. Does China have a chance of winning? I don't think so. I'm sorry. I just don't. I don't think so. Because I'm going to tell you the difference. Okay, if you look at Iran, the IRGC, their guiding principle is their religion. They are very religious. There's no doubt about it. They follow the supreme leader and they love the supreme leader. They have their religion as their guiding light. So they don't care if they sacrifice themselves. They're okay to sacrifice themselves. The IRGCs and whatnot, they're fine. But the Chinese people, they have no guiding principle. You think they love their country? You think they love Xi? I don't think so. There were people, when America went to Venezuela, there's a lot of echoes on the internet from the Chinese side, like, please come free us, please come free us. And then when they saw that America attacked Iran, they got louder, like, please come to save us, please come to save us. Like I said again, if you just gave them that showed them the green card, they're gonna fucking take it. Because they have no guiding principle. They have no, you understand what I'm saying? So they can sway any way for their good. If that's good for them, they will go that way. They're not gonna fight for anyone but themselves. Because I tell you, these people are suffering enough. These people are very smart and they suffer enough and they want to be better. They want to live a better life. And under President Xi, this is exactly why President Xi needs Trump to visit him. Because China as a country is collapsing, like fucking Soviet Union style collapsing at a really fast speed. And they're just using violence to quell the protests.
So where's China getting this money for Boeing?
What?
Where's China getting this money for Boeing?
China getting money from Boeing?
I said, where is China getting this money for Boeing? They ordered a bunch of Boeing planes.
That's not a lot of money. That's not a lot of money
200
for
million, 200 planes
China. Yeah.
from Boeing is billions of dollars. It's like $50 billion or something like that.
Oh, come on, that's nothing. $50 billion.
Yeah,
for
but
China.
if they're having such a problem in their economy, they don't have that. They can't purchase that many planes. Why would they need them?
Because they don't care about their own people. The people can die. They don't care. That's why they have so much money, because they never help their own people.
You know what? I just think that we might as well just start the war now. Just get it over with.
No, that's not how you play. Thank God you're not in charge. Oh my God.
If I was president of the United States, I would make sure that the Forbidden City would be in flames.
It's absolutely the best to just not the less conflict there is, the better. Is China suffering? Yeah, they are suffering. So what's the point of going to a war if they're already suffering? There's no point. There's no point in it. And I'm going to tell you again, they really don't care which regime, which person.
Well, the question is, do you think that the Chinese are going to rise?
They just want China to do whatever America tells them to do.
Answer this question. Do you think that the Chinese are going to supersede the United States as a superpower?
China's going to supersede the United States superpower?
Do you think that they'll become number one or
Of course
no?
not. You think they could pull shit like Venezuela?
You know, but, well, I just, you know,
and-
well, I mean, a lot of economists are thinking that they're going to supersede the United States. If they are, we need to blow them. We need to blow them up.
Think of China like Russia. Did Russia, have the ambition of taking over the world, over America? Yeah, they did, and they failed. Same things with China. You gotta have more faith in your own fucking government, Paul.
The problem is that we have too much debt in the United States.
That's okay, because people believe in America. America is more popular than ever before.
You think so?
Yeah.
Wait, you think more popular domestically or internationally?
Because I used to do this at my job. So I'm gonna tell you, okay? You can choose to pay down your debt or you don't. And if you don't need to pay down your debt and people still keep giving money to you, you don't need to pay it down. You understand?
But eventually your debt. But the theory holds is that if your
that angle is wrong.
Yeah, but if the theory holds that if your interest payments on your sovereign debt are higher than your defense expenditures annually, then you will lose your status in the world. And we are having that problem in the United States now.
Paul, the theories, it's different for America. We live in a very special country where all those theories might apply to other countries, but not America. And those people who are peddling, they say, national debt, No, actually, the truth of the matter is, it's like, you know how rich people operate? They never pay their own money. They always get someone else to pay for them. So it's the same thing with America. Why do you want to use our own money when we can use someone else's money? As simple as that. We're not in trouble. The national debt is not a real problem for us because we're doing extremely well as a country. Can we pay down the debt? Yeah, of course we can. We can. We want to? No, nobody's, it's fine. We're fine. Look, if we're fine without paying down our debt, then why do we do that? It's like like, people paying down their mortgages and stuff like that, and they always calculate, oh, if I pay my mortgage, if I have a mortgage on my tax, return, I can actually get more tax return. So a lot of people also don't want to pay down their mortgages so that they can get more tax return. So it's look, of course America has the power to pay down the debt. And of course, yeah, it looks like, we're having but we don't have to.
I think the country is we need to be more fiscally responsible. Now, I'm not saying pay it all down, but I don't think it should be 100 times GDP. 50% of GDP maybe, 65%, something like that. But 100 or 110 or 120% of GDP? No, I don't think so. The debt is a problem.
Not for a lot of people, not for other people, I mean, if you ask Chinese people if they have a chance to just go to America and live there, would they do that?
I think our debt is over 100% now of our GDP, because I think our
people
GDP.
Don't look at America from the national debt point of view. Only like people in America that would complain about America. All the rest of the world would love to live in America. Why do people?
Well, that's because they're in a worse situation.
No,
but it doesn't mean that the United States is in a good situation. We're in a less worse situation.
Well, I've also seen other countries. Okay, America is really the heaven. It's really the paradise. You live here for all your life. You've been out there a few times, Japan, Korea, whatever, Germany, whatnot. But the truth of the matter is, if people have the chance to come to America, they would. It's not because their country is bad or anything like that. It's just that there's something about American culture that is so attractive. You look at New York. Every day everybody is saying, "Oh, New York is dying. It's a dying town. The exodus." Blah, blah, blah. It's not. People still love New York, no matter how it is. There is a huge attraction. This American culture. We got so much good going on for us. I hope you see more of the good side and just focus on national debt. Like some academics out there crying wolf, you unless you come from another country, otherwise it is hard to comprehend.
I think the United States is over in debt, and we need to control our fiscal house.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things we need fixing, okay, but there are more. You can do it in some other ways, and I think Trump's approach to the foreign policy is to write the wrong course that we were on before. Okay, Iran is a very unpopular war, but it's also a necessary evil. Even China says Iran should not have nuclear weapons. So there you go. She is the greatest leader, is a great leader. And Trump, is doing the right thing about Iran. So they give stickers to each other, they endorse each other. That's what they wanted. That's all they wanted. And that's perfect. Perfect for Trump, perfect for Xi. Because that solidifies his power in China. You have no idea this boost of power for Xi is a favor that Trump is doing for him. A lot of people just don't get it, but I'm going to tell you right now. It is not what you think. And if they think, oh, Trump looks weak and all. No, because they really don't understand the deeper part of the philosophy, how to deal with the Chinese. Okay? And Marco Rubio, sanctioned, he shouldn't be handcuffed. Everybody in Taiwan was talking about Marco Rubio yesterday. Like, oh my God, they didn't get caught, put in my handcuff. He didn't disappear with a black card. Like, you know how China is. They could just kidnap anyone. They could just take anyone.
There's no way they were going to kidnap an American delegate.
Yeah, that's why they were joking. That's like, yeah, but he's a Secretary of State. He's still on the sanction list. You can look it up. Marco Rubio, he's still being sanctioned. He's still being sanctioned, and yet he could go. It just shows the hypocrisy of the real China. And you still want to believe the whole mumbo jumbo, you're getting it all wrong. Because China is all about, I'm going to send you that video, and you need to learn the concept of the face. And that is, and this YouTuber, the Bala language, he did a really good explanation of the face, the concept of the face. And I hope you're going to watch that and you're going to get a little bit more understanding of why Americans deal with China this way, or what they're looking for, what they're wanting, what's important to them, and what's, so it's hard to explain. Those who really know China, I think Epstein, if he writes a book on China, oh my God. I think a lot of people read it. I don't know how Epstein learned all this about China. I mean, he's just a really smart guy. I mean, that was back in 2006. And I don't know how many times he visited China. I don't think he even understood, Chinese. Somebody must have taught him a lot about these Chinese political philosophy. And he probably read some historical books on China and all that. Well, unfortunately, there's a lot of great books, throughout Chinese history. It was never translated into English, or the translation was very badly translated. So a lot of concept, it's just, foreigners never learn. But the real political animals, they know. They would know. Marco Rubio knows. He knows what. And then, did you see that wink? He winked at Trump when they were shaking hands. That was a big, talking point in Taiwan yesterday too.
Wait, who winked?
Because it was a really funny video. So they were leaving, right? So and then they were all lined up. So the Americans all lined up, and then Xi Jinping was shaking everyone's hand from Marco Rubio to Besson, and then to and also shook hands with Hasek, Marco Rubio, and then Trump was next to he was passing by, right, and he winked at Trump. After he shook hands with Xi Jinping. It's a cute moment. I tell you, it's a cute. They know exactly what you're doing. If you ever doubt Marco Rubio, you would be wrong. I would definitely.
Well, I'm not doubting Marco Rubio. I think that he's a very competent diplomat.
Oh yeah.
What I am concerned about is that I think this summit made America look weak, and we should have been strong against China and its belligerence with the 9-dash line.
You listen too much of the left wing, sponsor, or they just don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry you feel that way about your own country, and if you had the chance to talk to Marco Rubio, maybe he would explain to you, better, because I'm sorry, I don't know how to explain to you better, because if you want to. If you want to believe those people who always, say bad things about America in all situations, there are people out there who just every single time when there's a little bit of chance they can talk shit about America, they would do it.
I just feel that Trump is looking
focus on
weak.
that instead of focusing on the real, what's really going on. And if they want to analyze it in such a shallow way, well, then they get people like you who had doubts about America, and then we think, yeah, we're right. Yeah, they're right. And make them. Why would America, honey, listen, trust me, America would never go to any situation that would look bad for themselves. This I can tell you for sure. You think Trump's gonna go there and?
Oh, you really think so? What about what's going on in Iran? Trump looks like a piece of shit when it comes to dealing with the Strait of Hormuz. Trump doesn't even know what he's doing. Oil is elevated above 100, and it's been like that for weeks. There's no strategy that he's showing other than containment. And now that's going to bake in inflation.
That's why.
And it's only going to take about another 4 weeks before every single American is going to start complaining about the cost of food and the cost of how the energy and heating and.
Yeah, that's why I say it's a necessary evil. I totally agree with you, but like I said, it's a necessary evil, and this will cut off the bloodline that runs to China, and then in return, Iran, they don't make any more money anymore because they only have one customer, which is China. And now China is going to divest themselves. They did two things. China promised they were going to buy and grow American oil. Second, they also agree that Iran should not have nuclear weapons.
Well, I just, but the thing is look at Trump. Did he finish? But the thing is with Trump, everything is in a state of flux. Are tariffs settled? No. Is the White House in construction, nearing completion? No.
It's only been 2 years, honey.
What's going on with the Strait of Hormuz?
Oh my God.
He's going to kick the can down the road, and we're going to be at $100 a barrel of oil going into the midterm election. Well, the point here is that everything that Trump has touched in the last year and a half has been not completed. There's nothing that he's done that is complete. What has he completed? He started a lot of stuff. He loses interest in a lot of stuff. But what has he literally completed? I don't know. I have no idea. Where's the manufacturing that supposedly is supposed to be, trillions of dollars? I don't see it. Neither do the economists. And that's the problem with Trump. It's half measure. What he's doing is he's building a building called the United States of America, all in gold, and he's telling a bunch of people that want to buy into the property how great it is, yet it's got a lot of problems in terms of its design and in terms of its construction. He's a big sales guy.
No, I cannot answer everything for Trump, unfortunately.
And I'm glad he's president, but I'm just saying that if I was a teacher and I was grading his paper, I'd give him a C. He's not doing that great. Now, maybe, because this is the midterm. Maybe he'll turn around at the end. I don't know. But having the White House in a state of flux like it is, no one knows if that ballroom is even ever going to be completed.
Look, I think Biden did even worse. If you really want to compare, Biden did worse than Trump. And Trump had to clean up a lot of Biden's bullshit, right? So you got to give him some time, cut him some slack. We're just dealing with a bunch of illegal immigrants and, killing the cartels off of our shores. That's very important.
Stupid people out there. Wait.
And if you don't think if you don't think that's very important, then that's your problem.
No,
I cannot.
I think that.
I don't think that's important. You know, I think cracking down illegal immigrants is important. I think getting rid of the cartels.
But he didn't. He hasn't completed the problem. He's shut. The only thing that he's done. But the only thing that he has done properly and to good effect has been shutting down the flow of illegals. But in terms of kicking them out, he's done a terrible job. Obama was able to get out more illegals than Trump. Than Trump.
Obama and Trump. Stop comparing Obama and Trump. What else did Obama do? Nothing.
Well, I agree with you on that. But the thing is that Trump, if you give him a grade right now for the midterms, I would give him a C. I'd give him a C.
I give him A+ for all the effort that he put in.
Effort.
You're not appreciative.
But the American public.
You gotta play the long game.
But the American public playing the long game, higher inflation forever. Because it's never going to go down. It's going to be baked in. Everything across the country is going to cost more forever. Because it's sticky. Now, the inflation rate may go down, but the absolute dollars for everything that you buy is going to go up because of what Trump's doing. Because of what he did with the taxes and the tariffs, what he's doing with the war in Iran. Everything in America is going to be costing more forever.
The tariffs got struck down.
Right.
Okay. The tariffs got struck down, so there's no more tariff.
No. The price. No. But the point I'm making is that's true, except that he's going to be instituting other types of tariffs. But let's just say he doesn't institute any tariffs. Price is sticky. Once you raise it, it doesn't go down. Even when the tariffs are gone. Because what will happen is there's a reset of price. And that price has been set higher. And it's not going to go down. Diapers aren't going to go down. Potato chips aren't going to go down. Cookies aren't going to go down. Cereal, not going down. Beef, not going down. Nothing is going to go down. There's the problem with his strategy. Everything. What's going to happen if you fast forward to the end of his term is number 47, and you will find that inflation was substantially higher than when he went in absolute dollars. The inflation rate will be close to 3, but in absolute dollars for the price of a banana in the beginning of 2025 and the price of that banana in the end of 2028 is going to be substantially higher because of this fiasco that he is propagating through the economy. And if you use the term of inflation as one of the metrics to grade him as a successful president, you will have to give him a C. Because he didn't control it. He didn't control inflation.
I agree. That's why I say, I don't understand why they don't do like a 2-tier, like for American companies, give them a much better, because we are producing oil. There's no point to charge them $100 per barrel or is there some secret deal with the American companies with the energy that we don't know of that's going to be, it's going on? Maybe there is. And also, this war could be over very soon. Because now China has promised not to interfere. They were interfering a lot. That's why we're not winning. They were providing Iran with weapons and all that stuff. So if they stop funding Iran, stop helping Iran, and then let Trump to have the,
we wouldn't have had this problem if he decapitated the Ayatollah when we made the bombing run on the nuclear facilities, but he kicked the can down the road, and now we have a problem. See, he failed. And he's always chickening out. It looks like that what he did when he went to China. It looked like he chickened out. Everything about him is chicken out. Would you buy a Trump building? Would you buy into a Trump building?
What?
Would you buy into a Trump building in New York? I wouldn't.
I can't afford it.
Yeah, but the quality ain't there. The quality isn't there. The price is too high and the quality isn't there. That's what Trump is. That is what Trump has done to America. And I voted for him 3 times. And I'd vote for him again if he was running against a Democrat. But I'm being honest with his performance. He sucks. He is mid-level in terms of performance. He's a C student. He's not an A. He's not an A.
Okay. I hear. It's still work in progress. So.
Well, that's the problem. Is everything with him is a work in progress, and he won't get any of it done when he leaves. The White House will not be done. The tariff issue won't be fixed. Inflation will still be out of control. Oil will probably still be to the moon, and we might even have a war in Taiwan. And the war with Iran is going to continue on. He's not going to finish anything by the time he leaves office. So A for effort, yeah. But also an E in accomplishment. Because he hasn't accomplished anything.
How does drastic change on Trump?
Because I'm seeing because of what he has done, he's literally handing over the legislative branch to the Democratic Party. That's a big problem. On top of he has decimated the cost of living. The ability for people to afford things, he has killed middle America.
Yeah, but you also have to remember that Democrats didn't do jack shit. It's just only writing on the back of Trump, like not doing as well as he promised.
Do you think that you're going to be doing fine? Do you think in the next 2 you think you're going to be doing fine if oil is at $100 a barrel for the next month and a half?
Forget about Trump. What are they offering? What are the Democrats offering that you like so much?
I don't like the Democrats.
You see, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Well, here's the problem in America. It's always picking the least worst of the bunch. We can never get a good president. We can only get the least worst. Well, that's not a good option. That's just, do you want to go and have your society devolve fast or slow? But it's still going to devolve. So it's not a good, it's a false choice. Trump has accelerated the problems that we have in the country. He hasn't brought back the manufacturing jobs like he said he was. He hasn't made the Middle East stable. He's made it more unstable. Our munitions have been depleted, so if President Xi wanted to take Taiwan, I don't think Trump could do anything about it. Inflation is out of control. I mean, the cost of beef is way higher now than it was when Trump came into office. Way higher. And it's not going to fix if the cattle ranchers, which they don't want to, but started investing into their herd and increased the herd size, it would take 18 months before you would see prices to go down. 18 months. So beef prices are going to be elevated all the way through Trump's administration. So, did Trump do a good job? I'm not so sure. You know, I've been on this earth for 54 years, and I'll tell you, when I look at what I saw when he was in China, I didn't see someone strong. I saw someone weak. I saw the rising of another nation and the declining of one. That's what I saw.
Okay.
So the world's going to hell.
No, I think in the practical sense, they just guarantee oil price all the Americans. And that, you know, they're going to get free Iran prices, like 65 or something. Yeah. So, I mean, you know, does the American government have the power to absorb some prices, some money? I think so, yeah. I mean, we are our own producers. And then every day, Venezuelan oil is shipped to Texas. I mean, we have the biggest well.
Well, we're going to be selling energy to China. But when we do that, we're going to have less oil in storage, which means Brent crude and WTI is going to be elevated. We're going to be paying higher oil prices. Even when we're selling oil to China. Now, geopolitically, it's a smart move because they become more dependent on us and we're, you know, making money. All right, fine. But the thing is that there's no free lunch. Middle America is going to be paying more for energy. And Middle America is going to be paying more for goods. That's what this is going to mean. And the longer it stays elevated at $100 a barrel, more and more people are going to start feeling the pinch. Now, when they have AI making people more productive and you're working less hours, how are you going to go to your boss and say, you know, boss, energy costs are too high, I need a raise? Most people aren't going to get the raise. And even if they did get the raise, it would be at a COLA level where they're running to stand still. That's what's happening in America for the far majority of the people. And when it comes to inflation, people put money in the stock market, they'll make money because the PE ratios go higher faster than the inflation rate. So on a nominal basis, you're going to be at a higher compared to the actual rate of inflation. So, and this is the reason why rich people get richer while poor people get poorer. The Federal Reserve prints more money, the hot money flows into the equity market, inflation goes up, and rich people get richer. Even though some of that new money that they made has been eroded by inflation, they're still making more than their real return is higher than the inflation rate. That's why it's working.
Yeah,
and Wall Street loves it. Wall Street loves it. So if you have a lot of money in equities, you'll do fine. But the people out there that are working,
getting a lot of orders, and Boeing is getting orders, and that would keep the jobs moving. So what is it? And then China's gonna buy more farm produce.
Soybeans or something, yeah.
Actually, they need to because they really are running low on their grains and stuff because they have so much. They mismanaged their land so bad that they mismanagement of the land was so bad they cannot produce their own stuff, so they have to buy from all over the place. Indonesia, Malaysia, the rice, and even Japan. they're running out of rice. Can you believe it? So, if they start buying a lot more from America, I think that would solve, some of the job problems, and as well as, they buy more oil from America, and then Qatar, UAE is out of OPEC, so they can also produce more. So that's good as well, because that means that America is making more money. So I think all these deals are good. Do we have Venezuelan oil? Yeah, we do have. We actually have that.
I'm tired of a president trying to make deals. I want a president that actually sets in motion a more stable country. And there's the problem. He's not an executor of the White House, even though he should be. He is deal maker. He even says that he's the deal maker. The country doesn't need a deal maker. The country needs someone that has a steady hand on the wheel. He's not a steady hand on the wheel. He's too volatile. Everything about him, he hasn't completed anything. He didn't complete the mission for immigration, illegal immigration. That's still in flux. He's still having problems being able to get illegals out.
It's the judges that's dumb.
Yeah, well, I don't care what the reason is. The bottom line is, he didn't get the job done. He was given an assignment. Solve this issue. And when he's handing it in to be graded by his professor, the professor is going to say, "Where's your paper?" And Trump is going to say, "Well, the judge ate it." Well, no, there's no excuse. There's no excuse. I cannot think of one thing that he literally has accomplished. He's partially accomplished things, but he has not completely accomplished anything. Immigration? No. The White House renovation? No. Inflation? No. Energy? Security? In the context of the Iranian war? No.
I've always noticed that about you. You're a very relentless, critical person.
Well, what's wrong with it?
And sometimes, a lot of times, you criticize so much.
Yeah, but the thing is everything I'm saying is truthful.
You're pretty spiteful,
I want people to get stuff done. I want people to get stuff done. If they say that they're going to do something, do it. If they don't do it, there's a problem. And the thing is that when he fucks up, he's affecting my life.
He hasn't fucked up yet.
Yes, he has. Yes, he has. He's been in the office for his second term for less than 720 days. And he has not completed one thing.
He killed the walk. He killed the DEI. He put America back on Make America Great Again. All that is so important for American society. And obviously you don't care. I don't know, maybe you don't care. You don't see that? You don't feel that? I'm so glad that he took care of that.
You really think that he killed DEI? You really think he killed DEI?
No. And that, whatever the fight between him and Harvard and the other schools, I'm really happy to see that. Did he need to do that? Did he really have to stand up for Jewish people? He doesn't have to. He could just ignore you guys.
But he hasn't killed DEI.
He did it.
He hasn't killed it. It's still around. It's still around. It's on life support.
It's much less now.
Yeah, it's on life support, but it's still there. It's still there. Look at Hollywood. Look.
And you know what? I'm not sure your judgment is a fair judgment. When you are so extremely negative, I'm not sure that's a fair judgment. that you see.
Do you think
everything
that Trump is an A student?
take
But what's wrong with demanding it? Yeah, but what's wrong with demanding
Perfection.
no, there's nothing wrong with